So today I'm going to be covering how I dry fire at home. You can also do this activity at the range. I've also done this at the range as well, but I like to use my SIRT because I'm able to actually see on my target where it is that my shots landed. I like to use the Mantis X3. It's used as an improvement tool. So if you want to get better, it just allows you to see your average, what you're doing, so that you know what you can improve on. And over time, just by looking at a target, you'll be able to see, what your students have done. If you're an instructor, you'll also be able to see from yourself if you're going to the range on, what you need to improve on based on where you hit your target. So now I'm going to show you the difference. I have a split screen here of my actual target. You'll be able to see the laser, where it hits exactly on the target. You'll also be able to see the score that I get in relation to the center on the Mantis X. That's on the left. And so the goal here is to see what my score is in relation to the actual target. So pay attention to the left, what the number is, and where I hit in the center. As you can see on the left here, the Mantis tool, it's capturing each of my shots, and the red is an indicator on what I did just as the trigger was being pulled. So here I was pushing forward, which means that the grip moved the firearm forward during the trigger press. And here's where I was slapping the trigger, and that essentially just means that the trigger is pulled without paying attention to proper technique. Here I was tightening my fingers, so that means that the grip is too tight. So we always hear about having a firm grip, but there is a such thing as your grip being too tight, and that could also throw off your shot. And here on one of the shots, I had too little trigger finger. So that means that the pressure applied by the trigger finger during the trigger press was uneven. And here I was pushing. If you're pushing, that means that the dominant hand is pushing the gun up, which ultimately makes the weapon move up and your shot will be higher than you need it to be. A lot of times this is caused by anticipation of the shot. So you're anticipating the recoil before it came. And in this shot, I was breaking my wrist up and the handgun moved up from the aiming position as it fired. Here we have too much trigger finger. So this means that the pressure applied by the trigger finger during the trigger press was uneven. And then finally, tightening grip while pulling the trigger. So this means that the trigger is pressed, the grip gets progressively tighter. So right here, as you can see, this is the overall average score from all of the shots that I made. I did 50. This is also one of the drills that I did inside of the Mantis X. If you look to the right, you can see the time. So that's how much time it took in between shots. And some of these were a little bit longer because I was fatigued. Also because I wanted to, focus on my shot rather than my speed. When it comes to marksmanship, you want to take your time. You want to make sure that you follow all the fundamentals as you're shooting because slow becomes smooth, smooth becomes fast, and then fast becomes power.